Yes, I thought today, I don't usually have bits of paper, but I thought today I wanted to make sure that everything that I wanted to share is there. So that I don't have this thing of afterwards, I think, oh, why didn't I say that also? Like that. Yes? So, firstly, I would like to say that it's a great honor to be here today. And it's a very special occasion and a very special one of those, yes, like that. It happens very seldom, actually, not often enough on our planet, that something that is inspired by powers above, of which, as Mother Yogeshwari said, we are all instruments in the hands of all the great beings. And firstly, I would like to say it's a great honor to be in all of your company today. I especially would like to pay my respects to Sri Praveen and to Nirmala Nehru, yes, because part of what I wanted to say today is quite simply that Gurudev hardly ever lectured, and his lectures, as most of you know, were 5 or 10 minutes. He didn't give long stories about the Upanishads and the this and the that. He didn't do that. He lived life. And everything that is in integral yoga, because this is going to be an integral yoga school, everything in that he embodied. So the students that were there, which were our revered gurus, they learned through being with him, through the Shakti, through the energy, through the love, and through watching him how he was with other great Mahatmas and Jagat Gurus, and watching him go to the Ganges bank on his bare feet in his dhoti and carrying buckets of water up to his kutia, over the rocks, whatever the weather, you see. So he was the embodiment of this example of living life to the fullest. Now, like Mother Yogeshwari, I too only had 3 years of high school, and but have never stopped learning, because life is learning, isn't it? Yes? And I was reflecting on my teachers that I had in 2 continents during my education, and honestly I can say that teachers, what are teachers? Yes? A lot of teachers today think that they just have to spit out a syllabus, and so long as they know the little bit that they have to teach, everything's going to be all right. But it very often isn't, because the things that are missing in teachers is that they don't realize that they're sitting in a room full of greatly enlightened souls, and that they themselves are too. So when we begin to take on a body, we are actually souls that are pure and perfect and all-knowing. So on that level, teachers and students are equal. Yes? And so the whole of our education system, where we always feel that we have to add information on, yes? Because we feel that there are things that are lacking in the children that they need to learn. When in actual fact, we have never bothered to think about the fact that the students may just know all that already, yes, but have not awakened to the fact. That is all. So as we incarnate in the world, we have little tiny bodies. And somehow we tend to think that these little tiny bodies yes, don't know anything much. Yes, and that we must just pump them full of information. Sorry, Bharat. Yes, that we must just pump them full of information. And although that information is useful, as Madhya Geshri said, it prepares us for a career and it prepares us for social interaction. Yes? But it doesn't prepare us for life. It doesn't teach you how to be with yourself when you come face to face with death, with disease. Yes? And that is because the whole education system that Gurudev, who was the initiator and the inspirer of integral yoga, yes, he knew all this, and he said, unfoldment of the individual is what is necessary. Education is an unfoldment. So that the enthusiasm, as Madhya Yogesh said, the enthusiasm that we all have when we're young gets bigger and better. Yes? Because teachers and students are equal. So this is the challenge that we have. This means that how to be a teacher means that we first of all have to care for the students. Yes? I'm sure some of our older generation know that some of our teachers never cared very much for us at all. And others who seemed not to maybe know their subject so very well, but they were absolute darlings. Yes? Like that. Is that so? Am I making you all think about your teachers? Okay, so I'm just pointing out these few things that for us in this school, it is the whole fundamental principle of integral yoga, is a gradual unfoldment. We are ancient beings. When we pass out of our bodies, as Mother Yogesh said, we may not be quite sure where we're going, but we are part of this universe. We are part of God. We are part of the cosmic being. We have come from there. And a part of us is always there. It's always present. And so how to do this, how to enable young-bodied beings to flourish, to blossom on all levels, so that the education system is one that starts by allowing the child to be nurtured and to be loved, and for teachers to recognize, coming from the space of their own weaknesses, and parents also, and recognizing weaknesses and strengths in children, because teachers also have strengths. Parents have strengths and weaknesses. You see, so we're actually all the same. We just got big bodies or little bodies, but we're all the same. Yes? So, degree is just a bit of paper. It may be necessary to have a career. It may be necessary for social interaction, but unless the qualities of that individual are fully allowed to be, that is the spiritual aspects, the wisdom, that is what's so beautiful about Navaratri. Yes? Yes? Is it really? Are you with me? Okay, that's good. So now, I'm going to point out these things. The education system, which ideally, like Gurudev, education always wants to prepare children for something. Always got to be prepared for something. Yes? Is it possible to have an education system that doesn't prepare you for anything? It's a challenge for all of us to be with, to think about that. Is it possible not to prepare them? That is to have no targets. Is it possible to have no wrongs at a school? Is it? Is it possible to have no wrongs? There are schools on this planet today that are run like that, where the teachers, when they see that the child is interested in physics, will encourage that in the child. When they see they're interested in maths, they will not say, oh, well, you can't learn about maths, you've now got to learn about music. Then you don't want to see, you don't want to know about. Yes? So like that. Not seeing that everything is connected. Yes? Maths and music are intimately connected. Yes? Like that. So, finish with this. Is it possible to follow the examples of other schools, but for us to implement the teachings of Gurudev, schools where there is no distinction between teacher and students, and there are incredibly successful students, so successful that in a few years they have learnt the entire curriculum, even though they may be extremely young. They have learnt everything, right up to the leaving, yes, right up to matric. And they've learnt it in a few years. Why? Because the knowledge is already there. It just needs to be exposed. So, is it possible not to have a division between age groups? Because we all know that some little teeny tiny tots are extremely wise and knowledgeable, and some teenagers are not finding that within themselves just yet. Yes? No distinction. No division between schooling and everyday life. That life is a school. So that it isn't just, oh, well, you go to school and then you switch off. Yes? No. It's not like that. That's how it's been. And that's why the planet is the mess that it's in. So we've got to change these things. You with me? Okay. No stress, because yoga is not supposed to be ever stressful. No competition, because yoga is not competitive. You must watch all the students in the Hatha yoga classes. It shows all the big fat egos. And the biggest ones are the yoga teachers. Seriously. All right. I think I've said enough, but I would like to say that I just really am so inspired myself to be part and parcel of witnessing this. And for all of us as parents, as educators, as young beings that are old beings in small bodies, fully wise already, yes? But you mustn't take that home and then start getting stuck into your parents and saying, I know everything already. Love, as Mother Yogesh said, love is the greatest thing. Caring for each other. And if that loving and nurturing is there in a home, as I know it is in all your homes, then it will not be a failure. And the school will be extremely wonderful. And an example of how this planet can be. We can turn out young people who are incredibly wise and great contributors to a society. Hari Om Tat Sat. Thank you.